Under the shade of the banyan tree, the Buddha sat cross-legged, his presence radiating calmness and wisdom. He beckoned us closer, his hand like a silent invitation toward the heart of understanding. Around him, the world seemed to breathe in unison with his quiet, deliberate movements. We settled under the tree, our minds eager yet weighted by questions about life's chaos and suffering. The Buddha began, his voice a soft ripple breaking the still surface of our thoughts. Imagine, he said, a pond, covered with mud and decay, stagnant in the absence of movement or care. His words painted vivid images in our minds, each syllable building a world both ancient and universal. In that muddy pond, a single lotus grows, rising above its murky roots, opening to greet the sun's warmth. We listened closely, the story unfolding like a gentle breeze shaking the dust from forgotten corners of our hearts. One day, the Buddha continued. A storm raged, winds howled, and waters surged, flooding the muddy banks of the pond. The lotus bent with the wind but did not break, its petals clinging to purpose amidst the raging chaos. When the storm passed, the pond was clearer, refreshed, its mud settled, its surface rippling with renewal. The Buddha paused, letting silence fill the space between his words and our growing understanding. The lotus, he finally said, does not reject the mud, nor does it cling to the purity of sunlight alone. It knows the mud sustains it, but it also seeks higher truths beyond its roots and beginnings. The disciples sat quietly, the lotus blooming not only in the Buddha's story but within our own inner reflections. What can we learn from this? He asked gently, his gaze encompassing each of us like sunlight touching every leaf in its path. His question lingered, each of us searching our own minds for answers to our role in the world's unfolding struggles. The world today, the Buddha said, is like that muddy pond, thick with the burdens of our choices and actions. The climate crisis is the storm, stirring the waters, threatening life that depends upon balance and renewal. To endure, you must rise like the lotus, drawing strength from awareness, yet moving beyond greed and attachment. Each compassionate act toward the earth, the Buddha continued, is like a drop of rain upon the parched soil. We felt his words settle within us, not as commands but as gentle reminders of what we had always known. You cannot escape the mud, he said, but you can choose whether to remain stagnant or to grow. To grow is to face change, to endure storms, and to recognize that renewal often follows disruption. The Buddha's gaze turned skyward, as though reflecting on the vast cycles of nature stretching far beyond our understanding. Remember, he said, that your actions, however small, are like ripples spreading across the surface of the pond. Every ripple touches another, and together they move the stagnant waters toward life's greater harmony. We nodded, the truth of his teachings sinking deeper into the soil of our minds. The pond became more than a metaphor. It became a mirror of our own impermanence and potential for transformation. Never forget the interconnectedness of all things, the Buddha said, his voice steady yet filled with compassion. What you take from the earth, you must return, not as waste, but as seeds for renewal. His teachings felt both immense and intimate, like the vast sky reflected within the boundaries of a single drop of water. The Buddha rose, his hands pressed together, a gesture of gratitude for the earth beneath him. We followed suit, bowing deeply, and the banyan tree seemed to bow with us, its roots anchored in wisdom. As we left, the Buddha's words stayed with us, rippling through the landscapes of our thoughts and actions. His presence was not bound by the shade of the tree but lingered within the echoes of our intentions. Though the story ended, its teachings continued to unfold, reminding us to grow, endure, and renew like the lotus. Another day, another lesson beneath the shade of the ancient banyan tree where wisdom grows deep and quiet. The Buddha's voice resonated like the steady flow of a river carving its path through time and existence. Listen, disciples, he began. Today, let us explore the nature of rivers and how they mirror our world's balance. Long ago, he continued, there was a village divided by a river that carried life and destruction in equal measure. This river was once pristine, teeming with fish and reflecting the infinite sky in its clear, unbroken surface. Villagers relied on its waters to drink, grow food, and sustain their animals that lived alongside them in harmony. In time, however, greed overtook wisdom, and they sought to take from the river without thought to its survival. They cut down trees along its banks, leaving the soil bare and vulnerable to the ceaseless rhythm of the waters. Each day, waste from their tools and fields poured into the currents, fouling the lifeline that sustained their lives. The fish grew scarce, the crops failed, and the villagers looked to the river in despair. Blaming its waters, one elder rose and said, "This river reflects not itself but our actions. Let us change, so it may heal." The villagers listened but hesitated, for change requires courage and unity, virtues weakened by selfishness and ignorance. They asked, "How can one river harm so many lives? Surely it is but chance, not consequence." The elder replied, "The river we harm is the same that nourishes us. Just as the earth nourishes all, every fish, every drop, every grain, all are woven into the fabric of existence we are unraveling by neglect." Eventually, guided by the elder's wisdom, they began to act for the good of the river's course and future. They planted trees along its banks, giving shade and roots to hold the soil firm against the river's strength. They removed the waste with their hands, clearing the pollution that weighed down the river and their spirits. They restored balance to their fields, growing only what they needed, leaving rest for the soil to heal. Slowly, the river regained its flow and clarity, singing the harmony they had rekindled through effort and wisdom. The Buddha paused and gestured to the river flowing nearby, where its waters glimmered in the quiet light. "This river here holds lessons that flow into your minds, just as its waters flow into the earth itself. Life is interconnected," he said, "bound in the fragile dance between what we take and what we return. The harm we bring to the earth is harm reflected in the currents that sustain our bodies and hearts. Just as the villagers healed their river, so too must we heal the climate that breathes life into us." Actions, however small, ripple outward. Planting trees, choosing kindness over greed, learning humility from nature's patience. Resilience begins with understanding that every act of healing nourishes not only the earth but also the soul within. The disciples nodded, watching the river bend effortlessly around rocks, whispering its truths into the wind and the world. Another day, another lesson unfolded under the twilight sky as shadows of the great mountain stretched across the land. The Buddha walked with his disciples, his steps steady, his silence vast as the mountain they approached in awe. "This mountain," he began, "has witnessed countless suns and storms, enduring changes while remaining rooted in its ancient purpose. Today, I shall share a story of resilience, one drawn from this mountain and the wisdom it offers freely." In ages past, a kingdom flourished at the base of a mountain, its people thriving under the shadow of its strength. They revered the mountain, offering prayers to its stillness, drawing water from its streams, and harvesting fruit from its forests. But as their kingdom grew, so too did their ambition. Seeking to take more than the mountain was willing to offer, they mined its heart for treasures, cut its forests for timber, and poisoned its streams with the debris of greed. Rains came in torrents, unrelenting, and the exposed soil began to slide, swallowing villages and sweeping lives into chaos. The people cursed the mountain, accusing it of betrayal, blind to the harm they had wrought upon its ancient balance. Amid the ruin, a hermit who lived among the cliffs descended to the grieving people. His words as steady as stone, "You have taken from the mountain as though it owed you its life." But mountains, like people, are not infinite. The people asked, "How do we rebuild when the very ground beneath us has turned against our lives?" The hermit replied, "First, see the mountain not as a thing to conquer but as a teacher of endurance. Plant trees where forests once stood. Let their roots hold the soil, and their leaves breathe life into the air. Clean the streams. Let them flow clear and pure. For the water you drink is the lifeblood of the mountain, and in your hearts plant seeds of humility. For pride is the fiercest storm that erodes even the strongest peaks." The people heeded his counsel, and slowly they rebuilt not just their homes but their respect for the mountain's wisdom. The mountain's roots deepened once more. Its forests whispered again in the wind, and its streams laughed in the sunlight. The Buddha stopped and placed his hand on a stone, its surface worn smooth by time, its strength unyielding. Mountains remind us to anchor ourselves in purpose, to endure change without losing the essence of who we are. The climate crisis may shake our lives, but like this mountain, we can stand firm in mindfulness and adaptability. Let your actions be as steady as the mountains. Silence, unmoved by doubt, yet responsive to the needs of the world. Plant forests in your hearts. Let their roots grow deep with compassion, and their branches spread wide with wisdom. The mountain does not fear erosion, for it knows that its essence cannot be taken, only transformed with time. Likewise, act not from despair, but from the understanding that every small effort shapes the world. Like stones shaping rivers, let stillness guide your strength, and let your strength serve not yourself alone, but all who walk this earth. The disciples bowed deeply, their hearts heavy with resolve, yet lightened by the enduring presence of the mountain's shadow. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.